Hey guys, so in today's video I am going to show you a tutorial on how I edited this photo. I use most of my techniques in this image, so keep on watching. So I always start out with opening my photo in Camera Raw. This is the one we're going to edit and I'm just gonna go ahead and open it. And here you can see I already changed some of the settings in this photo. So this was the before. And what I have done is taking down some highlights and some whites because they were really blowing out on these areas. And I also changed the color. You can see the photo looked like this first, and I was just dragging the greens way up, and I also dragged the saturation down. So now I am very happy with the base, and I'm just gonna go ahead and open the photo. So today I'm gonna start out with cropping the image. This is not something I do every time, and I usually change my crop. And in the beginning I like to have this off because it means that you can go back and change the crop later if you want it to be wider or yeah, just a different type of crop. And I am using the 4x5 because I usually post everything on Instagram, and that is the format that they allow. So I like to have my base layer always untouched in case of something happening and I have to go back. I'm gonna start with duplicating the image. I'm gonna use the spot healing brush tool and just remove some imperfections and pimples, just things that are distracting. And when you are doing this, like for example for this picture, it's very focused on her face, so I usually use more time at these images rather than another one where the model is far away. I don't really use time to remove any of these spots because like nobody's gonna zoom in on her face. So the model actually wanted to pluck her brows before the photo shoot. As you can see, she has very strong, beautiful eyebrows, and I actually really prefer keeping them a little wild for a picture like this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up a little. So now the next thing I am going to do is dodge and burn, and I don't really want to go really in depth on how you dodge and burn. I actually know of a tutorial which I'm gonna link below. It's Irene's, and she explained it very good, the whole concept of dodging and burning. So I would definitely recommend for you guys to go there and check that out. Dodging and burning is also a skin retouch, but it is non-destructive, so you keep all the textures in the skin. All you do is highlighting and shadowing so that you are evening out the skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and start making a curve, and I'm just gonna drag up in the middle, invert the layer, and I'm gonna call this dodge. Then I'm gonna make a second curve and I'm gonna drag down. And this one I'm gonna call, first I'm gonna invert it and then I'm gonna call it burn. And I would make a group, put them in the group, calling it dodge and burn. Like so. So now I have a dodge and burn group, and I'm gonna copy that. And the new one I'm gonna call global dodge and burn. And that is basically me just making her features pop even more. And I'm gonna make another one with the exact same settings and call it makeup. And then I'm gonna make another one and I'm gonna call it depth. So it can be hard to see where you're going to even out the skin, so I like to have a layer that helps me see where I'm gonna highlight and shadow. So I make a layer, a black and white layer, And I make a new curves layer, and this layer I'm going to exaggerate a lot. So when I'm dragging this down, you can see that right here is a big shadow, and here the skin is more highlighted. And I'm going to put these two in a group and call it Dodge and Burn Help. And now we are ready to go ahead and start dodging and burning. So I usually start out with dodge, and you grab the pencil tool, and the flow is going to be set at 2%. And since the layer is inverted and the color here is black, you need a white brush color to mask on the adjustments. So I'm just gonna paint in many strokes, very carefully. So I don't really want to even out this shadow all the way. I just want it to be more of a smooth transition. Here you can see it's shadow, 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 and right here is a bright area. So to even that out, I wouldn't go ahead and make this brighter. I actually gonna go ahead and make this darker. So then I'm gonna go in the burn layer. And to get a more realistic look, it's very important that you use both dodge and burn layers. Many people only use the dodge layer, and it can actually make the image look more flat. I don't really want to remove any shadows to make it look like the sun didn't pop out. I just want to make the transitions more smooth. Another place I'm gonna go is around her eyes, just to lift them a little bit. So I'm just always changing between dodge and burn, and it's important to change the size of the brush. And for example, here I really want her freckles to pop, so I don't really want to go ahead and highlight very much of these places. So instead of using the dodge layer to smooth out the skin, I'm going to use the burn layer. And when it comes to how much you're supposed to do this, it's all about personal preference. So if you like to do this a lot, then you do it. Okay, I think that I am done with the regular dodge and burn. So now we can turn off the help layer. And what I didn't mention when I was doing this is you should definitely try to toggle this on and off, as well as the dodge and burn layers, just to see if you think you have gone over the top or not. And if I press option and press this, you can see where I've been dodging and where I've been burning. So here you can see the adjustments off, and here on. It just makes the skin look smoother without removing any textures, and this is my absolute favorite skin retouch. For me, I never really enjoyed frequency separation. I tried it out a few times and I just thought it looked too fake for my taste. So when I learned about dodge and burn, I fell in love with it immediately. So now I'm just gonna contour her face. It's basically contouring. I usually don't have on the help layer, but you can, because it's easier to see like where to put the highlights and where to put the shadows. But I just like to do it without the help layer, so you just do you. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight just a little bit on her nose. And I'm just doing very, very subtle adjustments. And one thing if you do something too much, you can always just change back to the black color and tone it down, or you can go to the opacity slider and just take it down. I usually go and do it in the opacity. And you should be very careful highlighting the nose because you can very easily make it look way bigger than it is. Something like this. Also gonna highlight her lip, the corners of her eye, underneath the eyebrows. I also like to highlight just a little bit in the wet line, I think it's called. And then on the forehead, just a little bit. Under her eyes, just a little bit. And now to the burning part. So I usually go like a 3 number around, and here I love to exaggerate. It's my taste, so also gonna do it a little on the side of her nose, just a teensy tiny bit, and under her lip. And as I was saying, I love to exaggerate, so I'm gonna duplicate this 3 times. So it's the before and the after. I think I'm gonna highlight just a little bit more, and you want to put the highlights where the highlights are naturally on her face. For me, I like to create some fake highlights sometimes. Yeah, I actually think that is good. And now onto the makeup. So I actually do the eyes and the makeup in the same group, but if you want, you can make another group which is just called eyes. Totally up to you. Here I'm gonna go very much closer. I actually see something right here. Just gonna remove that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with highlighting her eyes, and I know that the sun comes from right above her head, so the catchlight in her eyes is right here, and these are the ones I would be highlighting. So the only thing I'm gonna highlight up here is these catchlights. Before and after. I'm just gonna go ahead and do a little bit more. Then I am burning in the pupils and around here in the dark areas. There you can see, and I also like to burn the eyelashes. You can also add eyelashes in empty areas. I've edited this photo before, so I don't feel like there's a need for that. But I have done it many times in pictures where I absolutely felt that making the eyelashes more full would make a big difference for the image. I'm gonna also make her eyebrows darker. This is actually my favorite part when I'm editing the photos. I love eyebrows. Here is the before and the after. And now we're gonna go in the depth section. So the way I do this is basically darkening the areas I don't want in focus and highlighting the area I do want to pop. And it's kind of a vignette, but I'm trying to like make it more wobbly, not a perfect circle. And unfortunately she was wearing something very bright and it's taking some of the attention. So I'm gonna try and fix these areas, and since I'm happy with this layer, I'm gonna duplicate it in case I do something wrong. I'm gonna use the spot healing brush tool, and I'm now gonna go around fixing some of the edges. So I am going to try, I am very happy with my spot healing adjustments, so I'm gonna duplicate the layer again in case I do something wrong. And I forgot to say, but I am using the clone stamp tool, and I am pressing options on the Mac, don't really know what's on Windows, to choose an area to take from, and I'll just paint it carefully on. And when you are doing this, you want to be really careful because like these are very much in focus, these not so much. So if they're gonna be in the same plane of focus, they have to be the same sharpness. And she has some really beautiful features, which is freckles. And what you can do is burning them on and sit and dot them, or you can make a black and white layer, pick luminosity and go in the red channel and drag it down like this, and then you press Command I to invert the layer, and then you're gonna brush on the freckles. This technique really pops the texture in the skin, so you can go in the dodge and burn layer and fix it if you think it shows too much. Personally, I enjoy this look, so I'm not gonna do anything about it. So that is the finish to this tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next one.